Dolphins fans, I am Will Scott. You are watching the Dolphins Today Mailbag. We're taking your questions during our Thursday live show. So if something happened, you're like, wait a minute, Will, you're talking about Dalvin Cook. He's already signed somewhere. Well, that's because we're filming this on Thursday. I believe this is going out over the weekend. So if you're a little bit confused, that is why we're filming this during our Thursday live show. And our first question is coming in from Chad Jones, who says, what's going on with trades and breakdown left guard and right tackle? So I do believe that Dolphins could make a trade. I think it's more likely that they trade somebody away than trade for somebody. Some names to watch there. I would say Ced Wilson is a prime trade candidate because the Dolphins can save $7 million moving him. Two other names to watch, Jeff Wilson or Raheem Mostert. If you were to sign Dalvin Cook, I don't really see a world where both of those guys are back. Left guard, it could be Liam Eichenberg. It could be Isaiah Wynn. You have some options there. I think you should sign Dalton Risner, though, and start Isaiah Wynn at right tackle. I think that fixes your offensive line. They could sign another right tackle. I don't know if they will. I will say this. If Wynn plays left guard, if that's the plan to have Wynn play left guard, which he is taking snaps there, so it's possible, then, yeah, I think they need some more depth at offensive tackle. Maybe DJ Fluker is a name to watch there. Taylor Lewan also still out there and available. Dan the Fins man, thanks for the question, saying, sign Ndamukong Suh. This is interesting. A couple of y'all have been hitting me up about this. He's still out there and available. He's probably one of the top defensive tackles still available in free agency. And, of course, we're familiar with him because he was a Dolphin from 2015, 2017. Played for the Eagles last year. He was released by Miami in 2018. He signed that massive 6-year contract and then was released after 3 seasons with the Fins. Again, played last season with the Eagles, but just appeared in 8 games. I'm all for bringing Ndamukong Suh back to the 305. I think it makes a lot of sense. He's going to be cheap. You're familiar with him. He's played for the organization. I think for the most part he enjoyed his time in Miami, and you certainly need some depth at defensive tackle. You could use him, veteran presence you could have in the locker room. Do you think the Dolphins should sign Ndamukong Suh? Type S for sign or type P for pass. Down in the comment section, it's the pinned comment, so go and reply when you get a second. Should the Dolphins sign Ndamukong Suh? Go down in the comment section, chime in. Sherry May saying it. Take care of Wilkins. Address Seiler. Anything new on Connor Williams? We haven't heard anything. His agent, Drew Rosenhaus, was asked about it. He didn't comment on it earlier this week. I'm with you, Sherry. Wilkins has to be the top priority. I understand Connor Williams is the one holding out, but Wilkins deserves to get paid. Wilkins has played for this organization for 4 years. Connor Williams played for this organization for 1 year. He's played 1 year at his position. Wilkins should be the top priority. And I'm with you as well. I think Zach Seiler should also be a priority here when you're talking about extensions. Connor Williams, I think an extension should get done, but I think there's some other guys that deserve to get paid first. Poke Grinja 39. If the Dolphins can extend Williams, what is a possible trade idea? That's a great question. I don't know. You really don't see centers get traded very often. I look at a guy like Matt Hennessy in Atlanta. Nick, you cover the Falcons. You care to hop on here and comment on maybe Matt Hennessy being a trade target?
Matt Hennessy is an interesting name. He's actually slated to be the starting left guard for Atlanta this year because they're going with the second-year man Drew Dahlman at center. So Hennessy's moving to left guard rather than center. But it is interesting that he could be available for trade. I haven't thought about it until now. But the Falcons did draft Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse in the second round of this year's draft with plans of playing him at left guard for the future. So maybe if he does get ready earlier than expected, Hennessy could be on the market.
That's very interesting. And I remember talking about Matt Hennessy as a trade target last offseason because he was really good 2 years ago, but lost his job to Dahlman, who was a rookie at the time. And Dahlman's really good as well. So they have 2 good centers on that roster. Matt Hennessy, I think he's more of a center than a guard. So I would look at maybe Matt Hennessy. I think you could get him for maybe a 5th or a 6th. Is that a realistic asking price?
Yeah, I would imagine that is probably accurate. Backup center / starting left guard that hasn't had a lot of experience there. Makes sense.
I think Matt Hennessy would be really, really good. Kurt LaPlante. Darth Kader is going to be a beast next year. Backfield, amazing. I'm with you, Kurt LaPlante. when you look at all these articles from people that don't cover the Dolphins necessarily, talking about breakout candidates from across the league, you see guys like, let's say, Nico Collins of the Texans or Desmond Ridder with the Falcons or you name it. I've seen Kader Kohou be in that conversation as a guy that could really break out in year 2. He was fantastic, one of the best rookie corners last year, made a couple all-rookie teams. So, yeah, I think he's going to be fantastic. Backfield, if you're talking about the running back position, yeah, I think that's really good. It could be better, though, if you get Dalvin Cook. Jay Case, one of our Super Chat MVPs from today, man. We appreciate you. What are your thoughts on who will be our wide receiver 3? Braxton Berrios or Chosen Anderson? I'm going to say neither, Jay Case, believe it or not. I'm going to say Cedric Wilson. I think Cedric Wilson is going to be much better this year, get a lot more involved. He's looked good at OTAs in camp, apparently. Now, so is Berrios and Anderson. I mean, Anderson has probably been the third best receiver thus far in the offseason. I would say Ced Wilson just because I think that they're going to want to get him a lot more involved after the numbers dipped last year. But Chosen Anderson's name to watch there as well. Colin, thanks for the question. Can the Miami Dolphins sweep the Buffalo Bills because of the away game being in Buffalo so early? 2 will have 40-plus touchdowns. Yeah, the Bills complained about having to play in the Miami Heat last year in September, so they're coming to Miami now in December. Dolphins are going there in September. So I guess it's a win-win for both teams. If you're the Dolphins, you don't have to play in the snow again after playing in the snow twice last year. And if you're the Bills, who blamed that loss on the sun the entire season, they couldn't stop talking about it, then, yeah, I think it's a win-win for both teams. But, yeah, I think the Dolphins could sweep the Bills. I think the Dolphins are the better team. Why do I say that? The Dolphins went into Buffalo, were this close to beating the Bills in the playoffs with Skylar Thompson as their quarterback. That's number one. Since then, the Dolphins have gotten a lot better. The Bills have regressed. Bills may be dealing with some drama right now with Stephon Diggs. The Dolphins are the better team. Miami sports fan, it's all about the U. This Connor Williams situation is concerning. I agree. Sign Ben Jones. Ben Jones is probably the best center still out there and available in free agency. So if you go to Connor Williams and you're like, all right, we're going to give you a 1-year extension. We're going to give you a raise for this next year as well. And Connor turns that down. No, you can't overpay Connor Williams, who's played 1 year at his current position. Definitely exceed expectations there. Proved me wrong in a lot of regards. But I just don't think you can overpay. So if Connor Williams does not sign extension and does not report to minicamp, you got to move on. Maybe look at Ben Jones as a possible option there. Do you think the Dolphins should sign Ben Jones to be the new starting center, who's been one of the best centers in the league for the last 5 years or so? Type yes or no down in the comment section. Y for yes, N for no. Paul 5486 asking, what are some potential veteran defensive linemen Miami could pursue? I'll give you 2 names right now. Name number 1 being Akeem Hicks. He's one of my top targets here for the Dolphins. In fact, if you go back and watch my free agent targets video from about 2 weeks ago, he was top 5. Number 2, Ndamukong Suh. I think Ndamukong Suh is the name to watch there as well. I think Akeem Hicks might be a little bit more realistic. I think both guys will be relatively cheap given their age, but I'd rather have Akeem Hicks. Ruski 23-7, we appreciate you. If the rumors about Leonard Fournette, should the Dolphins pursue him or try to get a different free agent running back? Leonard Fournette's not going to be a Dolphin. Leonard Fournette said the Dolphins have the best roster in the league, and I kind of agree with him when you look at just how talented the roster is on both sides of the ball. That doesn't mean he wants to be a Dolphin. Obviously, people are going to read into that and say, oh, he wants to come to Miami, and he might, but it doesn't mean that he wants to be a Dolphin. But even if he does want to come to Miami, the Dolphins are not going to sign Leonard Fournette. I think he can still be a productive back, but if you're going to sign a running back when you kind of don't need one, it should be Dalvin Cook because that would be swinging for the fences. Marcos, we appreciate the question. Would you rather have Raheem Mostert or Leonard Fournette? Raheem Mostert 10 times out of 10. And I say that, as many of you know, I'm an LSU fan. Some of y'all were calling me out for it, my LSU shirt, that short the other day. I'm an LSU fan. I love Leonard Fournette. If you've watched my at-home videos from my at-home studio, there's literally a Leonard Fournette signed picture frame in that setup. I love Lenny. Playoff Lenny. I'm so happy you won a ring. That being said, Raheem Mostert is the better running back right now. Now, if the Dolphins did not re-sign Mostert, then yeah, I think Leonard Fournette would make some sense, but you already have a crowded running back room. Be sure to subscribe for more Dolphins news and rumors. And if you missed this mailbag, DM me on Twitter at WillScott44. You can ask me there.